Hello everyone and welcome back to what is part 2 of my custom MGEX Gundam Unicorn build. This is a bit of a chunky video sitting at the 28-minute mark, so for your viewing pleasure I have included timestamps and chapters to let you easily navigate your way to any section of the build that you desire. If there are any sections that you would like to see in more detail, please do let me know in the comments, and I'd also love to hear what you think of the finished build. It took about 4 months to complete and I am really excited to finally get to share this with you. So we begin the customizing process by disassembling almost everything, and I say almost because I do keep one leg and one arm fully assembled and use these as my canvas parts to see if the custom panel lines will work together. I sketch my ideas using a pencil, and if they seem okay I'll go ahead and start to scribe those lines on each individual part. I use this increment guide tape almost exclusively, especially throughout this build. It's really valuable in terms of being able to check the distances from existing details on some of the parts. Most of the custom panel lines are created with a 0.15mm MadWorks chisel, but I also use a 0.5mm for some notches, and also a 1.2 and a 1.7 BMC chisel for thicker lines and notches. I had the opportunity to use the Gun Primer multi-directional scribing pen on this build, and it is a fantastic little tool, really useful for highlighting existing details, and because the grip is different from a standard chisel, you feel like you have a little more control, especially in those hard to reach areas. Also from Gun Primer is their curved guide tape. This was a lifesaver for this section of the legs. It's a subtle curve that I created, but a straight line just would not do. Before we get into the priming, I would like to say thank you very much for taking the time to watch. If you enjoy these videos, please do show me some love by hitting that like button and subscribing if you'd like to see more of my work. Mr. Surfacer 1200, in my opinion, the perfect accompaniment for any Gunpla build. Simply mix at a ratio of 1 to 1.5 primer to thinner. Mix it up real good, get every last drop, and then take off the sticker and pop it onto the bottle so you remember what you're working with. I also use the black Mr. Surfacer for the inner frame parts. The main reason I do this, at least for this build, is that it helps me to keep track of the different parts. And as you can see, I still have the original assembled leg to compare the customized parts with. On larger builds like this one, seeing this really helps encourage me, at least, to keep going with a big build like this. For my colour choice, I decided to go for Mr. Colour Off-White, Mr. Colour 603 and Mr. Colour 521. I also used some 107 pure white to create some really subtle variation in my whites for different panels. After giving the parts a base coat in the off-white, I masked some areas off before hitting the parts with a lighter shade of white. Hopefully see on the shield here, the difference between the two whites is very subtle indeed, but it is there, and my original plan was to keep things subtle and not too crazy or busy. Then it was rinse and repeat, but this time using a darker grey. For panel lining, I usually prefer to make my own mix using enamel paint and enamel thinner, thinning it to a good consistency, just whatever makes sense at the time. And then the magic happens. The beauty of this enamel wash is that you can erase any excess super easily using some lighter fluid. It cleans up the enamel paint perfectly without damaging the lacquer paint underneath. For this build, I'd say about 90% of the water slides do not follow the guide in the instruction manual. I prefer to put them where I think is best, and further put my own stamp on the kit. I also use a mixture of the provided Bandai water slides and some other Dallin water slides that I had got previously, and I'll stick all this stuff that I've used in the description. Something a little extra that I picked up for this MGEX build was the etching upgrade parts by SH Studio. It has parts for the shoulders, arms, legs, skirt, backpack, and some amazing parts to add extra detail to the inside and the outside of the shields. The parts are awesome, but man, it was so tedious getting these to look the way that I wanted them to look. Once the Photoetch parts are under control, I use some styrene cement to clean off any dirt or grease that's built up on the metal, and then I give it a coat of Metal Prep 4K primer from VMS. Once the parts are primed and coated with the colour of my choice, I then start applying some fairly generous amounts of a little bit thicker enamel wash to the crevices. I wasn't too careful here as I'm going to clean all of this up again with lighter fluid. You can see some streaks in the enamel paint here, but don't worry about it, it is okay. When it's top coated, everything will look fine. Then, using some Flexi PE superglue, also from VMS, it's time to start and put these parts into position. And damn, just look at the detail on that shield. I am so pleased with it. It looks fantastic. So with all the parts complete, it was finally time to assemble the LED sheet, which was pretty tricky. If you are building this kit, do be careful, read, reread, and reread again the instruction manual. While I peacefully snap these parts together, I'd like to give another shout out and thank you to the guys over on my Patreon page who supported me during this build. If you'd like to see more behind the scenes style posts, be sure to check out the link in the description below. Also, I'll be posting the full photo shoot over on GUNPLA Gallery, which is a brilliant website where builders can display, archive, they can share their builds, and that's where I'll be putting all of my images. Definitely worth checking out. Details, you guessed it, are in the description.
Cappuccino.
And that's it for the custom MGEX Gundam Unicorn build. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Again, if you'd like to see more, let me know in the comments. Hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Stay safe, look after each other, and happy building.